Hi everyone, welcome to ECON 302 Summer Term 2021 edition. In this presentation, I will make an overview of the course. I will talk about myself, the TAs. I will talk about the schedule, the grading scheme, how you should work for this course, and so on and so forth. First of all, the instructor. That's me. My name is Thomas Vigier. I'm French. So the best way to pronounce my name is probably to think about those blue VGA cables you use for the computer. So if you say VGA, pretty close. This is my email address. Feel free to email me anytime. In general, I reply pretty fast. The prerequisites for this course are going to be Econ 201, Microeconomic Theory, and Calculus. You can think of Econ 302 as being a fancier version of both. We're going to do a bit more calculus, although it won't be as hard as your calculus course, I think. But we're going to do a harder version of Econ 201. Is this course difficult? Not if you stay up to date. But if you you need to stay up to date. The difficulty of the course comes from the amount of things we cover, not their difficulty per se. It is said that Econ 302 is one of the hardest courses for an econ bachelor's degree at SFU. One of the reasons is we are covering a lot of content. However, if you stay up to date, go to lectures or watch them, watch tutorial recordings, go to office hours, whether it's with me or with the TAs, and so on, you will not have any difficulty to follow the course. But you need to stay up to date. Tutors. Personally, I do not recommend tutors. We will provide a lot of material for you to practice, and we'll be available for help through office hours. Remember that at the end of the day, we are making and marking your exams. So we are the most relevant persons to talk to. I will be assisted by 3 TAs in this course: Anif, Mateus, and Boshi. I've worked with all of them before. They are great TAs, and I'm sure they're going to do a great job. Their email addresses are right there. So, how is the course going to be organized? There's going to be a lecture time, so it's one lecture of 3 hours. That's how the schedule is. I'll have a break in the middle most of the time. On Thursdays from 11:30 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vancouver time. Lectures are going to be taught synchronously via Zoom. So, I will teach lectures live on Zoom. You can check the Zoom section on Canvas for the lectures and office hours schedule. I will teach live, but I will also record the lecture at the same time. The lecture will then be uploaded on Canvas and YouTube. YouTube provides relatively good captions and subtitles, so I hope it's going to make the experience smoother. I know I have a thick accent. I know that some days I don't articulate well. Sometimes I speak too fast, and sometimes I just make a bunch of grammar mistakes. I'm still trying to improve, but YouTube is here to help me with some captions and subtitles. Tutorials are going to be taught asynchronously. So they are going to be recorded ahead of time by the TAs and then uploaded on Canvas. Attendance is not mandatory, especially because lectures are recorded, but it will be required for quizzes, the midterm exam, and the final exam. You will also be required to show your face, so to turn your camera on during those tests. There is a statutory holiday, which is July 1st, Canada Day. So there won't be any class that week, but don't skip on studying. It's going to be a great opportunity for you guys to check if you're up to date in terms of the content of the course. And probably that week, you're going to have an assignment to do anyway. A quick word about the language. Most of us are international students. I graduated 1 year ago, but I still consider myself an international student. English is not my first language, so I might make mistakes. Feel free to correct me. I need to improve. That also means that I require you guys to be clear when you ask questions to me or the TAs. After all, SFU delivers a degree in an English-speaking country. So, a minimum level of English is required to graduate. And that will also be required when writing emails. As part of the course, we expect a minimum amount of courtesy, conciseness, and grammar. So if you write an email, we expect you to at least address us with our names, so to know our names, not just hi instructor, hi TA. We do not accept that. And we will also require a minimum amount of politeness in the format. You can start with something like hi professor, hi Thomas, hi Boshi, hi Anif, anything like that. Or dear, any formula that works. And we also expect you guys to end your emails with something like best regards, have a good day, anything, and then sign with your name. Please, in the whole course, use your full name and include your student number when you talk to us. Using another name is not helping us at all. I know that many of you guys have an English name so that it's easier to get by in Vancouver. But you do not help us if you give us another name. It's actually a pain to look for your name in the roster if you have to look for your exams, for your grades, and so on. Use your full name, and if you want us to address you with your English name, you can tell us. Or you can put your English name in brackets or something. But use your full name otherwise. How to study for this class. So, take notes on top of the slides that are posted on Canvas beforehand. Slides alone won't get you far. So, they are enough to pass the course, yes. You won't get a D if you know the lecture notes very well and the tutorials. But I say way more than what the lecture notes say during the lectures. So I strongly recommend you to take extra notes. You could, for instance, have the Zoom lecture on and the PDF, the slides on the side, and you could put post-its on the side, like take notes. Whenever I talk about an anecdote, write it down, type it quickly, and so on. It is also part of learning. Learning is more effective when it's active. It's been proven. So if you're active in class and you're trying to take notes or trying to do something to remember things better, you won't have to study as hard after the lectures to remember the concepts. You will be saving time. Come to office hours as soon as you don't understand something. Otherwise, you won't be able to keep up and you will accumulate things you don't know. Week after week, I will build upon content that has been covered the week before. So if you're not up to date, eventually you won't be able to follow anything. Textbooks. I do not require you guys to have any textbook. They're pretty expensive. Only recommended. So any micro textbook will do. Microeconomic theory is rather old, more than 100 years old. Game theory is around 50 years old. So any microeconomic textbook right now would have those concepts. Two names which are pretty big in the field, Varian and Perloff. Both are called something like microeconomic theory with calculus or intermediate microeconomic theory, something like that. You do not need any recent editions. You can buy the old ones for $10. You do not need to buy a new one for $200. We are going over very specific concepts in this class, so I will also require you to know definitions by heart. I might ask you, define first degree price discrimination. What is it about? Tell me all the features. I might just ask you straight definitions. You will also need to be able to redo all the exercises covered in the problem sets and understand the concept studied. So every week, TAs will post a tutorial where they explain solutions to problem sets. I will post those solutions on Canvas as well. You are expected to know how to solve all of these problems, and you're expected to solve them in the same way I did. By this, I mean the presentation. I will talk about this in a slide or two. Grading scheme. So, we have a midterm exam that accounts for 20% of the grade. We have a final exam that accounts for 30% of the grade. We have two problem sets, that account for 20% of the total grade, so 10% each. I will announce deadline shortly. Finally, 3 in-class quizzes that account for 30% overall, so 10% each. They will happen at the beginning of lectures, and they will last between 10 and 20 minutes. Again, I will announce the schedule. Note that if someone cannot attend the midterm exam, an official justification must be provided within a week after the midterm. The midterm weight will then go to the final exam, so that the final represents 50% of the final grade. Same thing for quizzes. For assignments, there is no way to skip an assignment. So any late submission for the assignments gets a mark of 0. And when I say late, I mean a minute late is also considered late. So be careful. And the non-attendance to quizzes is also a mark of 0, unless you have a justification, which you need to provide within a week after the quiz. The final letter grades in the course are going to be decided based on the ECON undergraduate grading guidelines. You can click on this, it's a link. It will direct you to the SFU website that has a chart of grade distributions for ECON courses. What I mean by that is that you should not expect a B+ if your score is 75%. So don't just rest whenever you know that your score is around 75 or 80%, thinking you're going to get a B+ and that's all you need. You should aim for 100% at each assessment. Okay? That's very important. Regarding grading, TAs and myself have full discretion regarding the presentation when writing exams or the assignment. It includes graph labels. You need to label your graphs, English grammar, presentation of results, and so on. If things are not clear, TAs and myself have the discretion to just ignore your answer. And if you come back to us and say, hey, I didn't get any marks there, if we say it was too messy, it is your problem, it is not ours. Okay? Write your exams and assignments as if you were writing a report to your boss. If you write a report that your boss cannot understand, your boss is going to tell you, you have another day. Rewrite everything. I need to understand what's going on. Look at us, the TAs and the instructor, as your boss. It's a good habit to get into, because once you start working, you will be required this kind of discipline, this kind of professionalism. You are expected to show us your answers and arguments. We are not supposed to look for them. So if it's too tedious or complicated for us to find your answer, don't be surprised if you don't get any marks. Make sure we can read you and read what you write. It is your responsibility, not ours. I mentioned problem sets before. Problem sets provide a template on how you should answer questions in an exam. They detail the process because we want you to detail the process. If you don't detail the process, but you get your answer wrong, we cannot give you any marks. But we give partial marks. So detail your process as much as possible so that if there is an error, a mistake somewhere, something that prevents you from finding the right answer, but the process is correct, then we can give you some partial marks. We are generous with partial marks if your answers are clear. Again, tell us what you were thinking of when you wrote the answers. A quick word about cheating. Cheating is unacceptable in any form and will be heavily punished. The consequences at the university level can be big. First of all, it's going to be an immediate fail in the course. It's going to be an F. Since, as an instructor, I need to report cheating, I need to file a report and submit this to the higher-ups in the university, there could be higher consequences. You could be expelled from the university, for instance, and you could lose all of the credit you have accumulated so far. The procedure is very simple. I have gone through it before, in fact, for a similar course. Filing a report takes 5 minutes. I had the proofs, and the students failed. So I strongly advise against any cheating attempt. After all, ECON 302 is, for most of you, one of your last courses. It is very useful. It's going to structure your brain to think about how to solve problems, and this is going to give you good skills for the labor market. Don't underestimate that. Work hard. You are almost there. Technology requirements. You will need a camera for the tests. You will need a picture-taking device to submit your work on CrowdMark. For those of you who don't know what CrowdMark is, it's a platform that will allow you to take the exam, take a picture of your work, and upload the pictures. Canvas allows that feature as well, but Canvas is not as good. Sometimes submissions fail. I've had students telling me a week later, why did I get 0? And I said, there is no submission. You didn't submit any answer. They say, I did, but maybe the upload failed. Okay? CrowdMark is a bit better for that, but I strongly encourage you to upload your answers on a regular basis during the test, not everything at the end. When there is a high amount of submissions at the same time, some of these submissions are lost. It is your responsibility to make sure that you have submitted your work successfully. If you get a 0 because your submission failed, not my problem, it is yours. You will need a decent internet connection for tests. During tests, I require you guys to turn your camera on. If you're not able to do so, you are going to lose marks or get a 0. So a decent internet connection is required. And I do not accept excuses such as I couldn't connect because my connection is bad. You have been told in advance, so make sure you are prepared. You will be required to show your workspace as well. So a different camera than your laptops might come handy. For instance, you could use your phone on the side. For instance, you could be facing your laptop for the exam, and you could have a camera on the side that is recording you, your screen, and your table. And every now and then you can take your phone to take pictures and upload your work on CrowdMark. I will give you some more details about that in an announcement. So this is the overall outline of the course. In the first lecture, which I'm going to record beforehand, I will make a review of competitive markets. Then I will talk about monopoly and price discrimination. This is going to be the first lecture this Thursday, which is going to be Thursday, May 12th, I believe. Sorry. No, wait. Yeah. We're going to go through externalities and public goods. Then there's going to be a whole section on game theory. I'll start with basic games, Nash equilibrium, game applications, mixed strategies, sequential games, and repeated games. Then I will move on to risk and uncertainty with the concept of lotteries, expected utility theory, risk aversion. We're going to go through a bit of insurance as well. Finally, I will go through asymmetric information, a chapter divided in 2 subsections, adverse selection and moral hazard. As I mentioned before, we are going to cover a lot of things, but if you stay up to date, watch lectures, watch tutorials, talk to me or TAs in office hours, you will have no problem with the course. Is this class useful? More than you think. You might not use calculus anymore after you graduate, but in this course you're going to learn things about employer-employee relationships, contracts. Bargaining for your wage is going to be part of what kind of contract will you accept. We will go through that, and you will go through that on the labor market. We're going to study competition, industries, reasons for firms' decisions in general. Although it's going to be very theoretical, we're going to go through economic models. Some of those insights are powerful and they can be used in real-life applications. We are going to cover interaction between agents in game theory, why they choose what they choose. We are going to look at how to think of hierarchical relationships as strategic interactions. So, study this course with intent, as any other course in general, but you are almost at the end of your degree. It's a hard course. Not everybody passes this course, so I strongly suggest you to study this course with intent. The knowledge you will acquire is never useless, and this one in fact will be pretty useful. That's it for this first introduction to the course. I will also post those slides on Canvas if you don't want to watch the recordings. I strongly suggest you to watch it because I think I talk more than what the lectures say. In the meantime, have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you on Thursday for the first lecture. Bye!